So I just finished playing the game Hi-Fi Rush, which just kind of came out of nowhere, which was published by Bethesda, which was really strange to me. But it's kind of in tow with Bethesda's sort of marketing strategy of not really giving a lot of notice, which is smart. And I'll make a video talking about that and how I think it's actually a good idea. But this is a game I didn't really know I needed, and I'm really glad that it did. It came out at a time where I was really I had a great disdain of the gaming industry, and I'm so tired of battle passes, monetization, just recycled, boring, and unimaginative or innovative games. They just keep coming out and they keep pushing out just the same crap over and over again. And this game it honestly gave me a little bit of faith. I'm so glad this game came out, because if you haven't been on my Twitch streams, which you can follow me at Reechi2 on twitch.tv, but I've been playing board games and stuff. I've been painting minis. I've been talking about writing. I've been building campaigns and stuff, because I didn't have any games after playing Cyberpunk and being engrossed in a really good story like that. And I kept trying to play games. I've been playing Overwatch 2, and it just didn't hit, because there's no rewarding anything in Overwatch 2 now. It's just money. But I'll make a whole video talking about that too. But this game just surged this whole bit of like childlike wonder for video games yet again, and it was so needed. So if you don't know, Hi-Fi Rush is this 3D platformer, which is like an homage to the good old golden days of gaming with Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, but they also throw in some rhythm mechanics. I kind of just went into it. I saw that Bethesda had made it, and I saw it was on Xbox Game Pass, and it looked cool, so I grabbed it. And I was blown away, honestly. Like, they had this really good gradual progression of mechanics, and it just introduced them at such a very nice and comfortable rate. It didn't overly confuse me. It just felt right. And at first I was feeling so comfortable by the time I mastered the very beginning, just the basics. We're learning combos, the timing, figuring out like just basic puzzles using Peppermint, the first partner or whatever you have in the game. And you fight through some of these boss battles, and they're freaking epic. Like, they have these just grandeur boss fights with so many flashy stuff on the screen, which to me I love. I have like this weird I don't know, maybe it's like a kid brain or something, but flashing lights and cool colors, explosions and stuff, I love that. And it was just really, really, really fun. And then it starts introducing parrying, which to me, I suck at parrying in every game. I don't know why. I can't get parrying down. The timing's really weird. But they introduce that. They introduce, swapping out all your different heroes or partners. You're still Chai for most of it, but you swap out all the different people, and you can recognize the different scenarios in which you would use your different partners. Like Macaron's just better at smashing stuff, or if they have Z shields protecting them, which are these like red barriers that you can't really hit through unless Macaron smashes through. If there's fire, you can use another partner. If there's like any blue things or targets, you use Peppermint. And so it's super, super good in that aspect. And I loved that there was like a little bit of puzzles, and it also has like a lot of like hidden items and stuff, which just was a very 3D platformer thing. So I kind of went in and I knew what was up. You always look behind you as soon as you start. There's always a secret there. Always look for other routes and directions. Look for extra puzzles. You'll find extra upgrades. So I had a lot of fun just sort of with that nostalgic part of it, where it felt like I was playing an old Spyro game or Crash Bandicoot or something like that. And I think that part was, it might just be nostalgia, but I think that type of stuff in video games is what makes a video game feel like a video game. And I was so glad to see that come back in Hi-Fi Rush. Now, a lot of games that I played recently, both indie and AAA, and I'll talk about my issues with indie games too, but there just isn't a lot of stuff past the first couple hours, and especially AAA games. It's like you play it for one session, maybe 2 to 4 hours, maybe more, depending on how immersive you can get with it. And it's like, oh wow, this is amazing. And then the next day comes and you go home and you're like, I don't really want to play that game. It's not very fun. So like if I go there and I want to end up playing like even Overwatch 2 instead of whatever games out there, or any AAA experience. Like I remember Far Cry 6, I played for one stream session, and then I got really bored of it, which was disappointing because I like Far Cry a lot. But this game didn't have that issue. I played for, I think, 4 hours the first day, and I was just amazed. I was so into it. I was feeling the rhythm, feeling the beat, and that really gets you into it, man. Like just timing your attacks specifically with the beat, and just comboing out and doing all these crazy flashy moves that way. I don't know, there's something about it. So I played it consecutively the past 3 days. I beat it all the way through, and there is some more stuff after the main story if you want to continue playing there as well. And of course there's all the collectibles and things you can get, but it was immersive. It was a blast. It does a good job of making you feel like the main character. You feel like you are Chai. There's so many cool cutscenes. There's lots of like very, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if I'd say it's super innovative. I feel like I've seen it in other games too, but the camera switches to isometric, to a side scroll, to full 3D platform was really clean and smooth, and the transitions when you go from one area to the next, and it has like a cutscene, and it takes that cutscene and then puts you right into the gameplay. It had this sort of like seamless, if it feels like you did it because you go right into the gameplay, whereas like I think what struggle was the technology or something wasn't there before, where like maybe the hardware had some limitations and you'd have the cool cutscene and it shows you doing something crazy, but then you'd have this loading screen and it's like, oh well, of course that's just the cutscene. But I don't know, they managed to get a cutscene where you just go straight into gameplay right from the cutscene, and it feels so badass. And that happens both like in between zones, in between like maybe phases of a boss fight, or just narratively, and it's so good. It's just so good. I just loved every second of it. Also, I got so giddy playing like the zipline sections of levels where you're on the magnet and you have to dodge all these shipping crates, and the camera work on the speeds, it makes you feel like you're flying, and it was really fun to watch Chai just zoom around those sections of the game. I don't know, it's just a good game, man. It's just a good game. I don't know what to say. Like, even the boss fights were all so unique, and each villain sort of had their own personality, and every time you go in, they all sort of have like their own ideals, and some of them don't even care about the like main villain, which I guess you could say is the company or Vandelay himself, but each of them had their own goals, and each of them cared about different things, and it really reflects in their specific zones that they control, and I loved all of it. Like, it was just a good game. It was just a good game, and it's weird. So it's published by Bethesda, but it's made by, I think, Tango Works, I think was the game. Let me see here. Yeah, Tango Gameworks. And they're the ones who were behind Evil Within, which I never played. I played a little bit of the first one, but I do want to go back and try and play that again, because I like horror mystery type games. But also they made Ghostwire Tokyo, which a lot of people sort of bashed when it came out, which I thought was weird. And I played all the way through as the first game on Steam. I actually managed 100%. And it was just really fun to go around the world and explore. And okay, maybe the combat wasn't so good, but at least it was different. It felt different. I was waiting for a game where you would be a first-person wizard that's not Skyrim. And, well, essentially a wizard. You're casting spells, and it had just really clean animations. I don't know what it is with Tango Gameworks, but with Ghostwire and Hi-Fi Rush, these animations are super clean, very flashy. It just looks stunning, both in both Ghostwire and this game. I'd have to check out Evil Within again just to see, but I think Tango Gameworks has like a pretty good future if they keep making stuff like this, and I feel like they're actually willing to push boundaries. Like, they almost seem like they're just an indie dev that was given a bunch of funding from Bethesda and Microsoft or ZeniMax, whoever's running all that. I don't care about the business part, but they seem like they're an indie dev group, and they were just funded, and they were like, yeah, go to town, and they're just making like some of the most fun games I've seen in the past decade. Like, I'm just so tired of seeing the same stuff all over the place, and I'm really glad that somebody made something different. So I'm going to be watching Tango Gameworks probably a little more closely. I think I'm a big fan of what they're doing so far. And if you haven't played Hi-Fi Rush, it is on Game Pass, especially for you, Tim. I know you love Game Pass. So Game Pass it. I did that. I might get it on Steam just to support it and also get the Steam achievements and stuff, get the little blue ribbon. I'm into that. But, you know, there's so many video ideas I'm coming up with as I'm ranting here. But there's so many games where it's so apparent that they're so worried about making money and making sure that like the games are basically the same because they're so afraid of scaring the gamer away. I mean, there's even like backpedaling in certain franchises. Like, the biggest one for me is Call of Duty. I liked the innovation. I liked the goofiness of it. It wasn't so serious. It's never been a mill sim. So a lot of my favorite franchises have sort of just been stale. They're afraid to change it up in every new iteration that they put in, and I'm hoping that maybe with the success of like even Elden Ring and Hi-Fi Rush, maybe even some other sleeper single player titles, I hope we just start seeing more fun games, and I hope it bleeds into multiplayer, because at this point I'm just so burnt out of everything feeling like it's just selling me on something just to engage me for a couple hours, and then they have my money, and then it's like, it sucks. I want more fun games. I don't care if it's 3D platformers or what, just make more fun games. And even indie games, I'll talk about this in another video, but indie games are also kind of getting stale in a lot of places. There's a couple that are really good, you know, there's always a gem in there, but a lot of them just do the same thing, and I think that's the real reason why gaming isn't fun anymore. I think that truly is one of the biggest factors in why games aren't fun anymore. It's not that, you know, you're getting older or games are just like the games suck. I think it's just they're so stale and they're so afraid to try anything new. So more games like Hi-Fi Rush. Don't be afraid to push the envelope, or whatever the saying is. And yeah, I mean, Tango Gameworks, huge fan. But anyway, I just want to talk about my appreciation for something that's actually fun, an actually fun video game in 2023. Who would have thought? But personally for me, like, there's a few games this year that I am looking forward to playing, like Sons of the Forest. Pretty hyped for Starfield, regardless of what anyone says. Starfield looks awesome. I love sci-fi stuff, if that even comes out this year. But I mean, as it stands, and between every other game I've seen like listed that's coming out this year, this randomly dropped game, to me, is game of the year. Like, it's just good. I can't really say anything bad about it. There wasn't even any like bugs, minus like my W key not working after a combo for a little bit, but that was about it. It was very minor. So good on you, Tango Gameworks, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.